If you talk to anyone, starting out in wholesaling that is looking to make $10,000 a month, what is the first thing that any guru, you look online, it's all you're going to have to spend money to make money, right? You're going to spend all this money to get started. You have to buy these crazy cold calling programs. You got to buy all this software. You got to spend this PPL or PPC type thing, SEO. And it's all just it's a dump to make you pay and really spend a bunch of money wholesaling houses. And it's absolutely ridiculous. Now, what I'm going to do today is, and we're going to do today, is really share with you exactly step by step what you need to start doing in wholesaling real estate to start making $100,000 this year. That's it. Simple, right?
Easy.
And it's really not that complicated. To make $100,000 in wholesaling real estate, it's really going to come down to doing a really small amount of deals overall if you put in the work to really get rich in this business. And so let's talk about this. Let's get into it. Let's kind of have a conversation here of exactly how to start doing it. And we're going to fix the audio a little more when Rick starts talking here, and we're going to talk about this. So let's kind of have a conversation here, how to make $100,000 wholesaling real estate. So let's kind of talk about the first thing. Just talk. You're good.
Oh, I got it. Okay. So, so it's right there on the bottom of your screen. An offer a day keeps the gurus away. A lot of you think, and I've been in your shoes when you do this, is when you first get started in wholesaling, the first thing I need a mentor to teach me how to do it. And I'm here to tell you, a lot of you think that, oh my God, that guru, it was such a perfect pitch. It sounds perfect. They're going to guide me, hold my hand. I'm going to have 100% success rate. The reality is once you hire a guru, your problems just begin, because a lot of you expect the guru is going to solve every problem you have. And actually, forget the word guru. If you talk about someone's going to teach or mentor you. So imagine if you were teaching your child something. I know a thing or two about this is you actually have to be brutally honest with people. And the fact when you pay someone a huge chunk of money, the reality is they want to make you happy and just give you an expectation that you'll actually succeed. If you talk about like a mother or a father, it doesn't mean they love their child any less, but they have to have some brutal, hard conversations with them. And this is where most gurus were never going to have it with you. In fact, they're going to do the complete opposite. Keep doing this. So a lot of the gurus I see when they teach wholesaling is they tell you to go spend $5,000 or $10,000 right off the bat per month in paid advertising, direct mail, PPC, whatever. Why? Because that's all they know. And why not? Because they already know how to talk to the sellers. They're going to teach you how to talk to the sellers. Here's the secret. Everybody who takes on wholesaling, if you pay or you get it free, you have to go through the journey. There is no shortcut. If you paid me 10 grand or Zach, or you went to freewholesaling.com, you're going to get the exact same effort from us. And I know that's shocking and that's scary to you, but it's the truth. In fact, 70% of the people that come to freewholesaling.com, they've already bought a course. Think about this for a second. Why would someone come to me and Zach if they've already paid a guru big bucks? The amount of money you spend on the course is just a random number that someone creates value. And the value is created in the pitch and the marketing. And that's what, if you're a new wholesaler, you are the primo marketing. Everybody wants your money, and that's what everyone's chasing. And that's why it's so overwhelming. So the difference is you're going to have to do the work. You have to do the work.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And so let's see if the audio is working here again. But if not, we can always switch it up and do it all good. But the premise of what we're talking about here is an offer a day keeps the guru away. And I've seen most beginner wholesalers, if they make an offer a day, no guru's you don't have to deal with the guru because you're going to make a ton of money wholesaling, right?
And so you get experience talking to sellers. You learn how to pull the right list to find targeted, motivated sellers. And then this is when your nervous system locks in the theory to the actual work. Let me ask you, how many of you guys took chemistry in high school or maybe even college? You don't remember a quarter of the stuff they taught you there. But why? Because we memorize. In wholesaling, we actually have to wire it in your nervous system on what to look for, how to do it, and how to take actions to be a successful wholesaler. End of story. And if you don't do that and you understand it, you're going to struggle with it. And if you understand that, we say by making per day keeps the guru away. What does that do? It gives you the experience you need. And so many people don't make offers right off the bat. Don't understand how to talk to sellers. You all are going on a journey. And what most gurus will tell you, if you paid them 20 grand or paid them a dollar, still the same amount of material. And a lot of your hats on like, okay, well, if the pro is more expensive, it's going to be better. The opposite. I'm sorry. It's just the truth. Now, I'm not big on little $40, $50 products like the secret. Because I told you there's no secrets. At the end of the day, you are going to figure out wholesaling. And how do you do it? Whoever most action, makes the most effort, and is willing to put themselves out there will do well.
I agree. And so let's kind of talk about this. So the audio, we got a little audio problem. No worries. So we get all switched up. We're fine. We got it. We'll just buy another microphone. I don't really care. But guys, let's kind of have a conversation here. We're starting out wholesaling real estate. We want to make 100 grand. Let's talk about this. So you're talking about wholesaling. You want to make some money. You want to get rich. What are we going to do? Now, if you want to make $100,000 in wholesaling real estate, number one, an offer a day keeps the guru away. That is the first concept we need to talk about here. If you are trying to get rich, the number one thing we can focus on right now is just making offers. Let me say it again. Just make offers. That's it. If you cannot make offers, you ain't going to make any money. So that's what we're talking about today. So let's start making some offers, get some wholesaling deals, and getting rich. Now, the first thing we got to talk about here is how many deals is going to be 100K? You know, we really got to break it down because I think a lot of people get really stressed out about this. They start getting all freaked out. Oh my gosh, you know, what is $100,000 in wholesaling? And it really comes down to, honestly, about 10 deals I could say, right? That's about 10K a deal, about 10 wholesaling deals. And when we kind of demystify this process, right? 10 deals is it. Like that's it. And so I think a lot of people are really overcomplicating this of just like, what is wholesaling real estate and all this stress and craziness, right? But you're really only freaking out about 10 deals. And so if we can actually figure out how to get 10 deals in wholesaling real estate, that's $100,000.
Yeah.
Start flipping. We don't have to freak out over this and start making it. And so when you're starting out in wholesaling real estate, we kind of have to have a conversation here and really understand, do I have money or do I have no money at all? How do I get started in wholesaling? How do I get started in this process? What is the truth? What do I do? And like, what can I do here, right? Do I have the money or do I have not the money, right? Like, what are we going to do? And so let's kind of break down exactly if you have some money, what you can do. And if you have no money at all, what are your options and what we can do here? So if you have no money in wholesaling real estate, right? Like you're broke, right? I think a lot of wholesalers have this. What can you do? Like, what is your game plan guide to make 100 grand, right? Honestly, what I could tell you is if you have no money, your number one priority right now, and probably the thing you should be focusing a lot of your efforts on, is at minimum, try to get 100 contacts a week. Those are 100 hellos, trying to talk to at least 100 sellers every single week. And I think you should be doing this by probably cold calling government lists and probably doing 100 plus contacts of drying for dollars and reverse drying for dollars. 100 contacts is simple. Those are just hellos. Those are just people that are looking to talk to you right now in wholesaling real estate. That is as simple as it can be. And so I think this got cut off for a second here, but really it's about 200 contacts if you have no money, right? This is going to be about 100 contacts on drying for dollars. You could text these people if you know you're doing virtual, but really 100 contacts on cold calling. That should be it. There's no ifs, ands, buts, or excuses, right? Just get some hellos. If you can get in front of people that have a distressed property and you say, hi, are you looking to sell your property? That's what leads to deals. It's not the KPIs or the crazy fancy thing. This is what it's all about, right?
Yeah. I mean, listen, guys, you got to seek motivation. And some of you are just out there seeking properties for sale. In my eyes, that makes you a realtor. You have to seek motivation first, and they have to have a property for sale. So I get it, but you can't skip the motivation part. Because how are you going to get a good deal? Most of those people are going to put it on MLS, overlist it, and then you coming in at 30, 40% discount. It's such a long jump. You're better off working with off-market properties from motivated sellers, not properties for sale that are on market. I get it. It's easier up front, but I'm telling you, it is the path to nowhere. It is a path to sell a lot of courses because it gets you excited. but it's not the truth of the market. So as soon as you grasp that, in my 21 years of wholesaling, I have never, ever gotten a great deal that was on market and basically there was no motivation. Every now and then you get one, but for the most part, it's the exception, not the rule. And if you understand as a wholesaler, you can redirect where you're hunting. A lot of you guys are hunting on the wrong ground. So when we say doing the government list, doing 100 contacts a week, driving for dollars, texting the whole 9 yards, because that's the best way to get in contact with them and move through your leads. So you can't skip this, guys. We're not just looking for properties for sale. I don't know anywhere in freewholesaling.com that I say that the tax says that. You have to go hunt and find problems. And the bigger the problem you can find, the more opportunity to solve it and the more opportunity to make money.
I agree. And so just 100 contacts a week for calling or texting, that is it. Now, I usually always have a problem when I do this, though. And what do I mean by this, right? If you're watching this and you're like, oh, wait, what? And you start freaking out, you are not, a small amount. I get a lot of people that say, like, what do you mean? If you have a problem with that, if me telling you to get 100 contacts a week from calling sellers up, if that scares you, or 100 contacts from texting, right? If that is freaking you out, if that is stressing you out right now, you're going to have to do a deep dive into yourself. And what I mean by that is, why are you nervous to go out here and get in front of 100 sellers? And the truth is, a lot of people, they want everything, right? They want to get all these wholesaling deals, but they also don't want to talk to someone, right? A lot of people they don't want to show their face. They're so scared of it, right? Like, when we do a lot of one-on-ones, people don't like showing their face. And, a lot of people don't even like having conversations. They'd rather text it all, right? And the truth is that's not how you're going to get deals. Like, if you look at wholesaling real estate, a lot of these deals are going to be done face-to-face in person, over the phone. Heck, even if you're doing virtual wholesaling, you're going to have to call these people up. You're going to have to do the thing you fear most to actually close a wholesaling deal. But the truth is, most of you wholesalers feel like you want to delay the inevitability. And this is just procrastination on its ultimate level. And if you're looking to procrastinate you becoming successful, go do it. But the truth is, most wholesalers that have a deathly fear to drive for dollars or reverse drive for dollars because they're going to get in front of a real life person, and they have the fear of cold calling, both of those fears are going to kill your success. Because if you don't even have the courage, and I'm just saying that bluntly, if you don't have the courage to go actually call a seller up over the phone, you are never going to have the courage to give that seller over the phone an offer. Heck, even a low offer that's going to make you some money. And the reason why I love cold calling so much is because when you start doing it, you get not numb, but like your fear of talking to a seller goes down and you get more calm. And when it comes to negotiations, closing deals, you don't get super nervous anymore. And that is the point we're trying to talk about today, is if you are having a problem with making 100 contacts a week because you get nervous, right? I always talk to these people, right? Oh, I'm doing 40 contacts a week, or I'm doing 30. Why not 100? Well, it's so hard to cold call. I'm so nervous. And it drives me nuts because you are clearly have a fear of talking to sellers. And that fear will never go away until you do it. I promise you this. Do you guys know anyone in life that is afraid of flying in airplanes? Everyone knows a couple of people right there, right? But I promise you, and this is this has happened before. If you have a person that has a deathly fear of flying, if you put them on an airplane 10 hours a day for a year straight, I promise you they're going to be less nervous on that 366th 8-hour plane ride than the first one, right?
I guess.
It's the truth. And so it's a lot of people have a lot of fears, but a lot of these fears become irrational fears, right? There's people that are, scared and nervous of things, but if you do it so many times, the fear is, oh my gosh, what can happen, right? And when you realize you're not going to get attacked or any of these crazy, scary things, you'll be fine. And so, I used to have a fear of alligators, and, living in Florida, I can walk past an alligator no problem now, because it's Florida man stuff, right? And I know how to zigzag. I know how to get around it, right? You've had your fair share of alligator run-ins in your day. So like just the fear's not there anymore because I know how to handle them, right? And what can happen, I know what to do, right?
You run.
You run. You know, you've done it plenty of times.
Not in a straight path either.
Not a straight path. But the truth is, a lot of you guys are just nervous to talk to sellers when the fundamental thing, and this is something I cannot stress enough, the fundamental aspect of making money wholesaling real estate is talking to sellers, giving an offer, talking to a cash buyer. Yeah. Just having conversations over the phone is what most of this business is. And if you can't get past the first part, just talking to a seller, how are you going to expect to make any money? Now, there are people that don't want to cold call 4 or 5 hours. I get it. Go text people, try for dollars, reverse try for dollars, right? But if you were coming to me and you were vulnerable enough to say, hey, Zach, I have no money. How do I get rich like you? I'll tell you exactly what you got to do. But the path is narrow. It's not like there's 15, 20 ways, if you have some money to start making 100K, right? If you gave me $2,000, I'd be like, okay, you have all these options to make 100 grand this year, right? $2,000 a month. You have $0 a month. You have no avenue to speak anything. You cannot complain to me, all right? If you have no money, you have no excuse of, I don't want to do that. You have no standing or place to talk to me when you got no money. When you have no money at all in wholesaling real estate, you got 2 or 3 options. I hate to tell you. Well, when you give me no options of money for you to get in your marketing, I ain't going to give you many options back because there is none. Yeah. I hate to tell you.
It's truth.
And it's cold, honest truth. And I feel like half my job here, teaching people wholesaling is getting them to face their irrational fear of talking to a motivated seller. And I hate to tell you, if you're a human being, let's say you're 18 years old, you've been talking to human beings for 18 years. Why are you so nervous to talk to other ones, right? It drives me crazy. And yeah, I was never happy talking to a motivated seller for the first time. Of course I was super nervous. But the fundamental thing of being a man or, growing up or maturing is facing your fears. And every human being is going to face a scary, fearful situation. And your brain, our evolutionary brain, seeks patterns and how human brains work. And I understand this from reading so many psychology books and people. We as human beings always seek comfort and we don't seek bad, right? And this is a good thing. So if I put my hand on a hot stove, I'm gonna get pain, and it's gonna tell me don't do that, right?
Burn your memory,
right? Mm-hmm. And if flexing on a guru and making him cry, it gets me dopamine and it gets me happy, I'm gonna keep doing that, right? And so that's how human beings work, right? If something's fun and good, you're gonna be happy. So when I eat a really yummy burger, my brain says more of that, right? And ice cream. And then, if you do something that's going to be painful or being outside in the cold without a jacket, it's going to say not that. That's how human brains functionally work, right? Good and bad. Now, there's other tired stuff right? But that's how human psychology works. And this is important for learning about motivated sellers too. But the thing is, our brains are interesting, right? So if you get in front of a saber-toothed tiger, we're going to get fearful and we're going to run away and become safe, right? Scary. Our brain's not going to be like, you can fight him, right? No. Right? And so that's what human brains work. But the problem is, with human evolution, we as men and women used to fight off tigers, lions, gators, all these snakes, all these scary predators. And we used to go to war and fight other humans and punch and all this crazy primitive stuff with spears and swords and stuff. And the baseline of fear used to be that guy's 7 feet tall with 2 swords. He's going to mess me up. That's what fear is. Now, because of how much pansies we've become sometimes, talking to another person is the same fear as fighting a saber-toothed tiger for us sometimes. And it's not, your brain literally thinks you're fighting for your life when it comes to talking to a seller. When I got to sit you down and tell you, things are easier now than it was in 1832 when there was there was a winter storm we can't eat for the month, okay? And so I got to reset your brain of what's really scary and what isn't. What you cold calling a seller and making 100 grand is nothing compared to you being on the trenches or on D-Day, doing that stuff, okay?
Well, it's fine.
And so we got to understand that our problems, our fear of talking to sellers, our fear of trying for dollars, This stuff is so little in comparison to what our brains are used to, our ancestors are used to. And so you being scared to talk to a motivated seller is not something in my brain that I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. No, okay? Your ancestors have never been through droughts, floods, all this crazy stuff, fighting off crazy like people trying to hurt them and saber-toothed tigers and lions, for you to sit here and sit on your comfortable desk in your AC scared to talk to a seller. This is not what your ancestors through millions of years have gone through for you to sit on your butt and be scared to talk to a seller. Show them what's up, okay? And so what I mean by this is, if you have a problem talking to a seller, you have to look at it deep down. Why are you scared? Is this just as scary as you not eating or you staying broke the rest of your life? You have to make this change.
And most of you guys are just scared because you've never done it before. And honestly, the anxiety is so much worse than the actual act. So when we talk about like, when you say you're scared, you're going to have to redefine you're scared. Because in the old days, was scared is like, am I going to get a deadly disease that there's no cure for? Or am I going to have enough food to survive winter? Or, am I going to be run over by soldiers and like invading cities? That's like real stuff. I don't think we really have like a ground ceiling of what's scary anymore. Like, and that's a good thing, because all the people before you have laid out, they fought those wars. In my opinion, you live in the greatest country in the United States, and we have people here that don't even understand that. But the bottom line is you have the greatest opportunity right now in wholesaling. And when you guys use words scared or I don't want to do that, start looking at the words you're using to describe what fears you the most. Here's the biggest fear. I used to hate the dentist with a passion. I found out if I just go, accept it, because the downside is all your teeth are going to rot out and you can't chew, and you're going to have to get, what do they call them? Dentures. So in the financial world, if you've committed to wholesaling and it is the right path and you've chosen it, then don't sit here and torture yourself. Just do it. I mean, I think Nike said it best. The fear itself, you're better off conquering the fear than running from it. Because when you run from it, it's going to stay right here behind you and it's never going to leave you alone. As soon as you confront it, knock it over, and you might decide, hey, this isn't a good fit for you. Maybe you go, that wasn't bad at all. Listen, wholesaling is not transactional. As much as gurus and stuff tell you, you don't just pick up the phone, Miss Seller, you want to sell your house? Great. Will you take 50 grand? Great. It doesn't work that way. You actually have to converse and talk to people, and you do it every day with your own family, your friends. You might as well go out and make a really nice life doing it. That's where we're at with wholesaling. It is all in your head. You can be whoever you want to be. You make that decision every minute of every day, and don't kid yourself. So if you want to make a change, you're not happy what's going with it, if you will follow those simple directions and you will be fearless and just go out there and talk to people, how hard is it to be nice to hundreds of people? It's not. But you've got to learn how to lead them, how to walk them down, and how to qualify them. And that's all we do with it. I've already told you guys, wholesaling's not selling. It's not. And you don't need to know everything. You're finding opportunities. That's what you're doing. The real estate is just a math problem. That's all it is. So the more problems you can find, the more problems you can solve, and the bigger the problems you solve, the more money you make. Do you think I hit it out of the park my first year in wholesaling? I was a train wreck. Honestly, I don't even know how I survived it. You know how I survived it? I just kept doing it. I didn't let anybody take me down. Did it upset me and piss me off? Absolutely. But that's what you got to understand. Talk to a Major League Baseball player. I mean, a good batter bats in like the high 200s. That means almost 80% of the time they whiff, strike out, or they don't make the base. It's no different in wholesaling. You just got to keep going.
So if you're nervous to get cold calling or talk to sellers with no money at all, be a lot more nervous to be broke. That's all I can tell you.
I agree.
Do the work, and that's it. And so I can't cure somebody from being scared of talking to sellers if they're not willing to talk to sellers. That's it. You know, if you have a fear of holding non-venomous snakes, I just have you hold them all day long.
I'm not doing that.
But if you held a snake all day, every day for like a year straight, you're going to be less nervous with that snake at the 100th hour than you were the first. That's just anything in life. And so just letting everybody know, if you have a problem, look deeply into why you have that problem. And I think a lot of you guys have just this, the millennial mind syndrome of, my generation of what tough is, what trauma is, or what difficult things in life are. Because I promise you, what you look as a traumatic life or a very, very rough life compared to what other people have to go through, not even close. If you live in the United States of America and your parents make more than $40,000 a year, like your life is completely different than what most people in the entire world are. And so stop complaining. Stop being the victim. This is my number one thing I think I talk to wholesalers about, especially beginners, especially people my age, people that are, 16, 17, 18 years old. I'm like, your life isn't that bad. You are not suffering. You need to go out here and make something of your life, though. You have to prove to the world that you're worth it. We got employees wanting to make 150 grand a year for, I'm paying them 50 grand a year. And like they want to prove that they're worth 150. Like, prove it. Produce 200 grand in assignment fees for me, right? You just do something, right? And you are only in this world going to prove your value by showing the world that you can do it. Guys, I used to get paid $8.25 an hour, minimum wage for the state of Florida, for being a bag boy. That was what my time was determined to be. Now I make millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars in real estate, wholesaling houses.
You determine what your value is. If you let an employer determine what your value is, most of you aren't going to be happy.
That's what I'm talking about. And so my value is really millions of dollars, but I was just in the wrong place to do it. And so if you truly believe you are a millionaire and your family deserves to have millions of dollars, go out here and prove it. If you let your employer try to prove that you're worth millions of dollars, it'll never happen. Do it yourself, show what's up, put the chips on your own table, and you'll do fine. And so if you have no money, make that thought, make that change, figure out what you got to do. I'm telling you, having conversations with wholesalers is not that scary, all right? You just have to do the work. That's all you have to do. Talk to a seller. I used to get super nervous talking to sellers. That's it. And I love the people like, I'm an introvert, it's harder for me. I'm like, no, top acquisitions people are always introverts because they listen. They listen. The extroverts, you sometimes have this problem, right? When you're talking to a motivated seller, you have to actively stop yourself from interjecting or talking to that motivated seller, because it's not like a conversation with a friend where it's 50-50. That seller has to be talking most of the time. Yeah. And it's harder for an extrovert like that to do it.
All right, here's my opinion. Being on this earth 54 years, you always hear the introvert, extrovert argument. An introvert is just someone who's not used to doing what an extrovert does. Now, What you do naturally, like I'm all over the board, but I got ADHD, and that's fine with me. But please stop labeling if you're an introvert and extrovert, because they both have extreme powers. Extroverts like to talk, they're outgoing and they're social, but a lot of times they talk too much and it's about them. Introverts are incredible listeners. They just don't speak up, and they have this thing in their mind, like a fear of connecting and speaking to people. So introvert, extrovert, to me, an introvert is just an extrovert, and the vice versa, and the opposite. So like how we label this, it's like labeling Democratic parties. If you're not used to talking to people, you're automatically an introvert, just like that. And so I'm just telling you, there are pros and cons with each side. Being an extrovert sometimes can be a downfall in wholesaling because you talk too much. So when we roll out our 80-20 rule and you let them do 80% of the talking, if you keep talking and you don't let any pauses go, you're not going to get anywhere with that seller. So we want you to be somewhere in between. So we're all kind of born, I don't care, like an introvert, we don't naturally go out and just seek everybody out and talk. I think that's kind of the rare exception. But I'm telling you, stop worrying. People are like, I'm an introvert, I can't do this. I go, who's coming up with these labels? Introvert, extrovert. Like we're not like one side or the other. We're all a blend between introvert and extrovert. The question is, which side do you reign on more? Someone like me, sometimes I'm too much of an extrovert, sometimes I'm too much of an introvert. And you guys know exactly what I'm talking about when I do that. So you got to find both character traits and use them in wholesaling.
I agree. But the number one thing here is you just got to put in the work. I don't care introvert, extrovert. I don't care what language you speak. I don't care what you look like. The only thing that wholesaling real estate will ever discriminate against is how much work you put in. And when I tell you work, right, the effort you put in to make money in wholesaling real estate, and no guru will ever tell you this because they try to make this secret and it's all this and this.
Complicated.
It's very complicated. You got to buy my course for this. It's time and money. And I'm the only we're the only people that could ever break down wholesaling like this, because it's the truth. Those are your two resources. That's what you got here. Okay, you got time or you got money. That is it. So you make that decision for yourself. And this is the decision we're kind of talking about today. You want to make 100 grand, right? Are you willing to put in time? Or are you willing to put in money? A little bit of both or a little bit of nothing, right? And the only thing I can tell everyone in wholesaling is, if you have time on your hands and you got no money, I can get you 100K. I can make you millions. If you have no time but you got some money to spend, I can make you millions. But if you want to get rich but not work any hours into getting rich, but not pay employees to do it, you're just expecting to make millions of dollars by working 1 hour a day, 1 hour a week, with no money at all. That ain't gonna happen. Okay, this business is literally a car, and I've used this example a lot. If you're going from New York City to LA, it's a vehicle. What fuel? It's like a hybrid car, right? It's electric and gas, right? Time is going to be the gas. Electric is going to be time is electric, and gas is the money, right? And yeah, you can go to free charging stations, putting your time into the vehicle to travel. It's going to be a little harder, a little more difficult. Or you just spend a bunch of money on gas and just go, right? Gas is expensive though. And so it's like you have a hybrid car, right? You have gas and electric. It'll do both. But the problem is, if you don't want to charge up the car and you don't want to put gas in it, what are you going to do? You're going to walk?
Those cars confuse me, man.
But here's the thing. That's wholesaling though. And so you got to decide what you want to do. You can't do nothing though. You have to put something in.
I think so many gurus try to take you from basically they want to get you to the full scale gas commercial vehicle. And the reality is, you guys got to first figure out how to take down your first deal and then get number 2, 3, 4, and 5. And don't think you can skip the basic mechanics of learning some of the sweat equity you learned in wholesaling. And that's why we promote government lists and stuff, because the reality is the quickest way to kill somebody in wholesaling is have them spend 15, 20 grand on marketing, spend another 5 to 10 on a guru, and then get one deal and call it success. Who's that success for? The reality is, you cut your teeth by talking to people, going to experiences, and solving it. As we said earlier, who here learned to ride a bike by reading a book or watching a video? Now, I guess you could use it as a peripheral, but the reality is you're going to have to get on that bike, and you're going to have to go, and you're going to have lessons, and you're going to get a few bruises. The question is, can you handle the bruises and get back up on the bike? Some people just get one little scuff and they're out. Some of you guys go out there with no helmets, no pads, and you're like, what do they call that one unicycle? When I was a kid, unicycle was people breaking their necks, their backs. You don't need a unicycle. But I'm telling you, you have to actually do it. It is not like school where you learn a theory. I said earlier, who remembers everything from chemistry? I remember a couple of the signs, and that's it. Why? Because it was information I really didn't want to absorb, and it wasn't going to make me any money. Probably saved my life, though.
I'm telling you. So time or money, which one are you willing to put in? If you have no time, you're going to have to put money in this business, okay? Software, systems, things like that. If you have no money, you're going to have to put that sweat equity, right? The calling, trying for dollars, the reverse trying for dollars, the door knocking, the walking for dollars, right? The digital bandit signs, right? You just got to let people know that you're looking to buy houses, right? And it's going to be time consuming. But I have never found the thing that's no time or no money at all, right? That's the difficult thing. And so we talk about no money. Now, if you have some money, right, I would say you can do a lot of things, right? Now, number one is probably the easiest way, if you have cash on this, is you pay for employees and have them call or text. Now, you should be calling and texting so you know exactly how the business works, so you can teach other people. You can do that. That is one option. You can also send out direct mail, mailingmastery.com. We teach you how to do it. So it's mailingmastery.com. Love mailingmastery.com. Shows you how to do direct mail. That's one other thing you can do. It's not, if you don't know much time, that's one of the best marketing platforms you possibly can do. It's simple, it's easy, right? On top of that too, you can invest in some softwares. You can kind of get a dialer, like I've said, zachdialer.com, and start calling. And then usually when you're putting money in this business, you get a lot more marketing out, right? It's more scaled out. And so if I'm using a dialer, for example, and call 3, 4, 5 lines at a time, I'd recommend only 3 though. you can get 3x more contacts in a given period, right? And so with more texting and more direct mail, right, you get more people to talk to. So you should be at between 300 to 500 contacts a week with these type of systems, right? And if we're not doing government lists, right, we're doing a listrei.com list or a zachdata.com list, or we're using dmzac.com for Skiptracing, right? We're going to be able to reach out probably not less motivated, but like less niched out lists. So it's a little more contacts to get a deal, but it's a lot less work for us. I promise you that. So about 300 to 500 contacts a week. We can start calling, texting, just get in front of. That's going to land us 100 grand easily, right? Now the ROI is different, right? We're spending money, but we have a lot more options and we can start doing very well. I think the average person, you put 100, 200 bucks in this business, right? You could definitely get a dmzac.com, right? Maybe even PropStream if you want. Pull some lists and just start calling with it, right? Start drawing for dollars, right? Listrei.com, zachdata.com, and dmzac.com, they all have drawing for dollars apps included with it now. Mm-hmm. So it just, world's your oyster there. And you start pulling different lists, testing them out, and just start getting in front of sellers, right? The one thing that I've seen a lot of wholesalers do, and this is turning into a pet peeve of mine. So we've kind of not stopped these type of live streams, but I'm just trying to get the word out there. Some of you guys will literally only do for sale by owners. I don't understand that. This is like a weird concept for me. Like I'm seeing all these like JV deals being sent in, like they're just FSBOs. And they're not even being locked out for good deals. And I don't personally understand this. People say, you know what? I'm just going to only do FSBOs. Like I've never said you can do FSBOs, but
FSBOs they're easy up front because you get the price, you get pictures, you get everything, you get the seller's phone number, super easy up front. Don't get me wrong, there's deals in FSBOs, but man, like your quantity has to be insane. And so I want to do deals with everybody on here, but you got to understand, if your deal doesn't make sense,
well, your discounts have to be insane too.
Yeah, from a wholesaler, like. So a lot of you think when people list a property, so someone lists ones for like $275 and go, I got them down to $200. And you go, well, it's a $75,000 discount. You can't do that because 9 times out of 10, they way overlist it and just disregard comps or anything. It's like a wish list. That's usually why they wind up being FSBO. So you have to look and see what the value of the property is. And maybe that property is only worth like $200,000. You just got under contract $200,000. Now we're back to normal like retail. And you understand those don't work. So you can do FSBOs, but you're going to have to go through an incredible quantity and you got to find distressed property, distressed sellers. And if you have a FSBO and there's no sign of motivation, most likely the deal's not going to fly.
Yeah.
I want to do deals with everyone, but I've been doing this 21 years, guys. I am not like your white unicorn that can sell anything. I can sell great wholesale deals. But if they're marginal or low at best, it's really hard to partner up with you and split the money if there's no money there. And so don't get upset when we turn deals down. But how much do we charge them to submit these things?
Nothing. You got to remember, our buyers are used to Rick and Zach Ginn deals.
Yeah, they're not.
And what I mean by Rick and Zach Ginn deals is when I send a deal to a cash buyer, first of all, we have a reputation with our buyers that like, wow, they send us a deal, we're going to make money on this, right? Zach doesn't send deals that I'm going to get my butt whooped on, right? Because that's what we do. And the truth is, I ain't going to be the boy that cried wolf. If I start sending you my buyers trash deals that you guys send me that are trash, my buyers don't want to buy anymore, right? And then I can't start doing thousands of wholesaling deals, right? And that's the problem. And so like, there's like, a lot of you guys feel like there's this secret thing that if I just do the MLS deals or FSBOs, I don't have to market at all. I just talk to the person right there and I get the property under contract and it's just, and the buyers won't even know a difference.
Here's the truth, guys.
They know the difference, man.
Wholesaling is not transactional. So you can't trade it like a stock. You can't just make an offer on MLS. It's a yes or a no. Wholesaling requires you to network, communicate, build rapport, and most importantly, build trust and relationships and help people out in problems where they need help from a wholesaler. But a lot of you guys try to go on a wholesaler and help someone who's trying to sell a house retail and wonder why you're beating your heads against the wall. It's purely listen, when you get to the highest price, there's transactional and then there's what we call selling. And that's where you have to bring a realtor and they have to go, what do you think it's worth? Like you got 4 swimming pools, 9 bathrooms. We're not into that stuff. We're just looking to help people out that need our specialty, our niche, selling properties that don't traditionally sell in the open market easily, or people that don't want to work with realtors. And guys, if I thought I could just trade real estate with a push of the button, I'd be doing it. But the reality is you're going to have to connect and talk to the people. The value in wholesaling is locating a motivated seller, which is marketing. And then number two, working and building rapport with them and get an amazing relationship so you can go into that price, save face, and walk out with a great deal. I didn't say there's any other way you do it. And that's the problem with FSBOs. A lot of them are overpriced. And then you guys think that $50,000, $75,000 discounts like the wholesale discount, that's the normal price. You're still going to have to get 40 to 50 off of that price to make it work. So FSBO, you know what I'm talking about? People put it on the market for 300 and you get under contract 200. They go, I got a $100,000 discount. It's worth 200 and you got to like figure it out from there. So guys, you got to look for deals. You got to hunt for them. And the people that are willing to go out there and talk to as many people as possible and find great deals and have a ton of conversations, those are the ones that wins the whole thing. Those are the ones we partner up with. Me and Zach are not miracle workers. Like if you can't sell it, you probably paid too much for it. And me and Zach are probably gonna have the exact same problem you do. So me and Zach are always gonna give you the truth on stuff. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It just is what it is. We don't spend a lot of time on bad deals sent to us.
So the one thing I'm telling you is you can't, a lot of guys try to only do that because you're trying to skip the work. The grind and the work is the point. And you doing it, you gain your skills by doing the thing that's not as fun, and you go from there, right? You know, if you want to become a good athlete, you're going to have good conditioning and good cardio, which is never fun. But is there a way around it? Not really. Like that's the problem. You just got to do the work. Even if it sucks, you got to do it. Now, one other big thing I can tell you is if you're paying for some marketing right, your number one key here is going to be testing lists. And as somebody that has done deals around the country, I can tell you, I'm not a miracle predictor here. Some areas, some lists work, and some areas, lists don't work. I don't know what to tell you here, okay? Like, there are some areas where the probates are just absolute dookie. And there's some areas where probates are insane. Mm-hmm. Most of the time, probates are insane. But there's some times where it's not. I hate to tell you. And so, if you have the opportunity or if you're privileged enough to try out different lists, I would highly recommend it. Because if you try out 12 different lists or 10, government, paid, all these things, I guarantee 2 out of 10 are just going to just go bonkers for you. And they're going to be really good. Yeah. But the problem is here, and I hate to say this, if you only try out 2 lists, maybe they're part of the 80% that aren't good. Yeah. And you get screwed up. And so I think testing lists is very important because when you test out, you're just going to find something that works. You're going to go crazy on it and make a lot of money, right? But you got to remember, like wholesaling real estate is testing things out. And then when you find a list that works, keep doing that thing that's working and don't switch it up, right? And so we're talking about making $100,000 in wholesaling, right? And kind of the trajectory of wholesaling, I find most people in freewholesaling.com that make $100K, right? They like struggle. Big deal here. Good. Struggle. Okay, another good deal. Struggle, deal, struggle, deal, struggle, deal, right? And it's not because like that's how it works, right? You don't get any deals up front. The reason why it's actually working is because you start testing things out. Okay, pre-foreclosures are working, okay. Good. All right, wow, these probates are working. You start adding the things that are working. And if you've got 4 or 5 lists that you know actually work, the deals start rolling in. And you start doing the stuff that's not working. And it's an efficiency thing. And so that's why most wholesalers, right, if you're going to make $100,000 in a year, you're probably going to make $70,000 of that your last 3 or 4 months. And the first 6 months suck. Yep. And it's not because your skills are different. It's just because you're doing the things that aren't working and you just get smarter and more efficient with it, right? That's why if you're a master, like carpenter, if you do masonry or like any type of like profession, you know, if you go to a guy that like all he does is clean fish, right? All he does is clean fish. Really good. He's insane with it. Because he's doing it for 15 years. It just, no motion is wasted, and it's just as quick and easy as possible. Versus the first time doing it, right, you're going to be sloppy with it, right? Yeah. And doing that, you can just do a lot better. And so the truth here is, if it's working, keep doing it. And probably the most important part is you have to keep consistent with it. You have to make a plan, and you just don't ever give up. And the truth here in wholesaling real estate is there are winners and losers in this business. And winners are wholesalers that make 100 grand the first year or get the first deal, whatever you want to define a winner. And there are losers. Okay, these are gurus. These are people that quit wholesaling, right? Those who I define losers in wholesaling. Now, that's sometimes a mean thing to say, but there's winners and losers. And a loser is someone that just quit wholesaling, right? So, but I'm not a loser, right? No, you're not a loser. You haven't gotten your first deal, but you're not a loser. You know why? Because you never quit. And if you keep going up, you're going to be a winner, right? You're a winner in training. But the truth is, if you end up quitting, you're done, right? Like it ain't going to work.
Yeah.
And so the only way to turn into a loser is by quitting and giving up. If you're still fighting your bones, you're good to go, right? Wholesaling real estate's a marathon. It's 26.2 miles. So if you're on mile 1 and you just sit down for like an hour and breathe, and you get back up and then you go to mile 2, you're still on the path to that 26.2. It might be a long path, but if you just don't stop moving, you're good to go. It's the people that quit the race and leave it that end up not finishing the race.
And the only reason you quit is because your expectations didn't meet your reality. And how can you have expectations for something you've never done before? Because most of you set your expectations to all these guru pitches out there. Oh, you're going to become a millionaire. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. It's so easy. Just pay me and you're going to live just like me. Dude, it's so completely opposite like that. As I said, if you're starting out wholesaling, you are a mark. Everybody's hunting for your money. And the bottom line is you're going to have to do the work. And if you can't handle that, just be brutally honest with yourself. Because if you can't be honest with yourself and stop telling yourself lies, there's nothing me and Zach can do for you. At the end of the day, if you just don't quit. And here's the thing is, I don't care if it takes you 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years. We all learn at different paces. My God, I think I need another 10 years in school to learn as fast as someone like him. Just different. I'm ADHD. Why do I say that? Because I'm no different than a lot of people. Everybody has something they're dealing with, but it's just your challenge, the way God made you. So you can't quit. You also need to look at other things in your life. Do you quit other things? Is it a pattern? And if it's a pattern, you need to start addressing it. Because if you'll just take the time and make the sacrifice, amazing things will come to you. Go find anyone that was not given a big trust fund and ask him how hard the climb was. No matter what business it is, you're going to find the same struggle. The only difference between the people that won and the people that quit that are losers is they just stop doing it. And if you don't stop doing it, you have a fighting chance. If you quit, you have to start all over. All momentum's wiped out. And honestly, try to do it the second and third time around. It's even harder because now you have a preconceived notion that you're not cut out for it. So don't quit. People are going to hang up on you. People are going to slam doors on you. Contracts are going to fail. People are going to give you surprises. I should put this in my marketing piece here because no guru puts it out there. I'm not a guru, guys. It's just 21 years in this business. You actually have to put the work in. And he's so correct. If you don't quit, you're still in it. But the minute you quit, there's nothing me and Zach can help or do for you. Because I've been doing this 21 years. He's well
7.
deep into it. 7. We just never quit. Do we have bad days? Heck yeah. But we have more good days than bad days. And this is life in general, guys. You have to sit there. You have to show up every day. You got to fight. I have the same struggle you guys do getting out of bed. Like, I want to stay in my warm, cozy bed, even though I'm in Florida. But the reality is, once I get up and get going, I'm fine with it. But we all go through it. Even you go back to some of the Stoics, those are great leaders throughout history. They all had the same problems we did. The difference is the people that took action and didn't quit. So you got to pick which side you're going to be on it. You can't quit. You have to have massive conviction starting wholesaling. So I know everybody on here has a belief. The question is, do you have the conviction to stick it out?
Exactly. And so you got to understand this too. When you're trying to get in this business, you're going to have a lot of distractions. You're going to have your brain's going to try to get you to stop because it's not fun or exciting. You know, it's not a video game. It's not TikTok. You're going to have to get long-term suffering for long-term satisfaction. And it's just always, it's planting a seed and letting it grow. That's what it always is. Do the work, get the action. You'll get rich wholesaling real estate. Guys, I didn't become a multi-millionaire in a year. Now I'll tell you, I became a millionaire in 3 years at the age of 20, from 17 to 20, and then from there it's grown.
But he made tremendous
but
sacrifice.
I've made tremendous sacrifice. It's from 20 to now, it's grown an insane amount, and the amount of time I work is not crazy anymore, right? But the truth is, I work less than most wholesalers watching this. But here's the problem, and here's the reason why I became a millionaire from 17 to 20. I put in more work than anyone should. What I mean by that is, from 17 years old to basically 20, 18 to 20 really is when I started putting a ton of work in. Every single moment of the day was wholesaling houses. I woke up in the morning and I went to bed, I was wholesaling. That was it, right? I worked out, I ate some food, and that was it. There's a lot of sacrifices I made, a lot. But I wouldn't trade that for the world. And, most people aren't willing to do what I was willing to do. Why is Kobe Bryant? Why was Larry Bird? Why are all these athletes so much better than everyone else? Is it they're just genetic freaks? No. Because they're willing to spend more time playing basketball than anybody else was any healthy person mentally was willing to do. And I was willing to do something most wholesalers mentally couldn't do. And maybe it's a mental issue with me, probably is, that I was willing just to put everything on the plate to become rich wholesaling houses. And I decided to myself I was going to sacrifice 3 years of my life for the next 70 years. The problem is a lot of you guys will spend 4 years of your life in college enjoying yourself, partying, and suffer for the next 60, 50 years until you retire. So I made the trade to suffer for 3 years to enjoy the next 70 versus most people who enjoy 4 and suffer for 50. Like I always say this, if you are going to have this headache, and this is the truth in wholesaling, this is the way I always look at things. Maybe I'm crazy. But if you're going to have the worst migraine of your life, constant, 24 hours, and it was going to start today, and for the next 3 years, you're going to be in excruciating headache pain, migraine pain for the next 3 years of your life, and then after the 3 years, for the next 50, 60 years, you don't have that anymore? Would you rather for the next 3 years have no headache, no pain, and then for the next 50 years of your life, you have that headache? Every single person would choose, oh no, I would take the 3 years of pain versus the 50 years of pain, right? Mm-hmm. That's easy, right? You switch that with jail. Would you rather go to jail for 3 years and then be free for 50, 60 years? Or would you rather be free for 3 years and then go to jail for 60? Everyone picks the pain up front that's short versus the pain that is constant and terrible, right?
Yeah,
But the problem is, everyone says that, but when it actually comes to working and grinding and actually making money in your business, you choose to, I want to enjoy myself now and then go suffer the rest. It's terrible.
You just, guys, there's no way around this. I mean, anyone who's ever made it, for the most part, they all have a crazy, insane, like, this is what I did to survive. This is what I did. Like, and the whole thing is none of them quit. And that's you've got to do it. Like, I don't know where people think, like, you can do it my way. You want to hear my way? Go to school for 5 or 6 years, be an average student, go just get a sales job because that's my highest and best skill set, and then get paid 75 to 100 grand a year and beg your boss for any time off, more than a week off, maybe 2 weeks if you put in 10 years, and then just beg for time. And then you go to this cubicle 8 to 10 hours a day. You really only putting in 2 hours of work, and you're just killing time. You worked on someone else's dream. So I did that so I did the college thing. Then I did the 12 years, thought this company was going to retire me. I just said, screw it. It's 12 years of pain, and I'm only asking you to pull, like, really the first year and the second year and do that. And guys, if you say statements like college is the greatest days of my life, you did life wrong. How can a 19, 20-year-old that has no money, no assets, and no common sense be the greatest time of their life? Actually, when you get out of college or you avoid going to college altogether, if you make those sacrifices while you're young, and it doesn't matter what age you are. I did it in my 30s, 33. He did it at 16, 17. The question is, when are you going to do it? Stop. And stop comparing yourself to everyone's life around you. Dude, it's par at best. It's average. And if you want to be the average of all the people you're around, watch when you elevate yourself to a whole new level, you're going to start looking at people completely different. And your job is to lift others up. And the best way to lead people is what? Stop preaching to them and go do it. If you want to make a difference in your kid's life, if you want to retire your parents, you have to go get it yourself. No guru's going to save you. Me and Zach can just give you direction, but you've got to really, really want it and desire it. And if you don't, then just be honest with yourself. I'm okay with that. Now, listen, wholesaling's not for everyone. If it was, it would be completely saturated. No one else do it. And if you look at our population to the amount of wholesalers, it's a really small percentage when you get down to it. And then like how many realtors are there? There's like 1.4 million realtors. How many do you actually think actually do real estate? Probably 10% of them. No difference in wholesalers. I'd probably say only 5% of the wholesalers. So of the 300,000 or 400,000 people that try wholesaling or do it, maybe 5% of them are real active people like me and Zach. Probably less.
I agree. And so, you know, I've been rich and I've been poor, right? And I have a lot more fun at 24 years old with basically millions and millions of dollars in the bank, running around the world and doing whatever I want, traveling. I can work on the computer and all, and just go to any sporting event I want, do anything, and just live like at 24 years old, having millions and millions of dollars, being a multimillionaire is a lot more fun than being 18 and 19 years old, chilling with the bros and being broke. And so I've designed this life for myself though. And so a lot of people think that, oh, you're only young once, being 19, 20 years old, being broke, doing nothing. That's terrible. And then being a 25-year-old broke person, I can't do that, right? And working a job, that's not. And so I love the little must be nice, bro. This is my favorite. I get this all the time. You know, I get friends that say that, right? Must be nice, man, to have millions of dollars. I'm like, must be nice being 17, 18, 19, 20 years old, working 16 hours a day every single day of the week and not doing anything else except for wholesaling real estate. It must be nice to only think of wholesaling houses. It must be nice to only cold call 5 hours a day, 5 days a week for a year straight. It must be nice to constantly drive for dollars at 5, 6, 7 a.m. It must be nice for me to give everything, go through everything. Wake up in the morning, wholesale houses, cold call, follow up, do nothing else. It must be nice not hanging out with all my friends all the time because all I was doing was grinding and knowing exactly what I was going to do. It must have been nice for me to sacrifice so much in my beginning, 3 years straight, nonstop, only thinking of what I was going to do and not knowing if it was ever going to pan out. Must be nice. Must be nice doing all that. Must be nice just grinding and getting no deals and be like, what's going on with myself and going through all that stress. It must be nice hiring employees, not knowing how it's going. It must be nice for me doing all this stuff. Must be nice, man. You don't understand the amount of suffering and the amount of work and trials and tribulations and blood, sweat, and tears I had to do to get to that point. Must be nice. Johnny, I know for a fact, if you want to get to where I'm at, I don't think you're willing to pay that price. There is always a price to what I achieved. There is always a price of what I've had to do. The problem is no one is ever willing to pay for the bill. Guys, you say this once. If you want to, you have to, I don't know who said this, but you have to work without looking at the clock if you want to pay a bill without looking at the price. And that is what you have to do. And so I love it when someone says, must be nice to have what you have, man. I get people say that all the time. Must be nice to have that car. It must be nice to live like that. It must be nice to be 17, 18, 19, 20 years old chilling on your couch at 8 p.m. hanging out with the bros. That must have been nice. It must have been nice to play video games. It must have been nice to watch TV shows. It must have been nice to go out there on all those parties. It must have been real nice.
Johnny, what
you got
to understand is he put in all the work when other people are out there partying and doing everything else. And like, it doesn't matter if you do it at 17 or 18 or you do it. I did it at 33. Like I didn't have the tools. I didn't have the guidance to figure it out. Zach had the guidance and he had to go out and get it. I didn't give him crap, dude. I provide housing and love for my kids. And somewhere in the parents, we've decided, you parents that want to do everything for your kids, you're going to find out it's the hardest way to raise your kids. You got to let your kids be independent and figure it out. When he got into it, he was frustrated with his job, and he's like, you spend so much time with me. How do I do this? I gave him a couple books to read. He took some action, and he never
grind
stopped.
From there. That's it.
And he grind, but like you guys weren't around there. Like it was a long grind. Like this kid didn't get anything. So when you say a comment like "must be nice," what is it? Just your passive aggressive comment? Like,
well, Dad, I don't care. But here's the truth: when people say that, I always turn it back on them. what were you doing at 18 years old?
What are you doing?
I look at their Snapchat, I look at their Instagram. They're out partying. Guys, when I tell you I work 16 hours a day, when I told you when I was in college and all my friends brought the girls and they're all trying to talk to me and I literally tell them, get out of here, I'm calling. That was what I was on. You talk to anyone that I went to college with me, you got to understand, my friends, they pulled up with like all these girls and I'm like, you got to get out of here. I'm cold calling. I'm on my Mojo dialer. Like it must have been nice to hang out like that, but I didn't care. I was doing something I knew that was going to pay off in my life. And so, every single time now, I can pull up in a really nice car. I can pull up in all these great things. It must be nice. And I always bring it back to them. And every single person that's always said that to me, I ask them what they did from 18, 19, 20 years old. They're all partying. They're all having the time of life. They're all playing video games. They're all watching their TV shows.
That's what I did at that age.
They're being young. That must have been really nice because I never had that. I can truthfully tell you straight up to your face, I never had that. From 18, 19, 20, I never had that fun. But, I can be on a jet ski. I can be wherever I want now, right? I can be in a penthouse, hotel, doing whatever I want. So it's really nice for me right now, yes. But here's the truth. The only way it was nice for me is because I had to mentally suffer. That's everything in life, guys.
And if you're willing to do that, guys, wholesaling is amazing. I had to suffer terribly. He suffered smarter than I did and younger. And all we're trying to do is pass it down to you that like you can do anything you want. I didn't have the skill sets. Dude, I love my friends I grew up with, but we're in completely different worlds now. And the thing is, like, I don't want to outgrow the people like I grew up. Listen, your job is to mature and grow in life. Why? So you can help others. Do you think I could have helped my kids out if I sat there at a regular 9-to-5 job? And like all the effort out to anybody out there cutting it for their kids, like I get it. But if you've made the decision, you have to dig out of a hole. I did it and you can do it. The question is, when do you want to do it? So if you're young watching this and you're contemplating, am I going to do the college thing? What I'm going to do? The reality is, here's what happens when parents raise their kids. When that baby's born, nothing can be, that's perfect, right? That baby is perfect. It can do no wrong. It can poop all over you, pee all over you. And then the reality is, once that kid is 18, 19, he's like, okay, dude, you better go figure it out. And that's what's going on with a lot of parenting right now. Kids are trying to figure out how to deal with finances, how to deal with inflation, everything, when this should have been done the entire time. Now, I don't blame your parents because they're busy. But like once you have a brain and you can do it, I've seen kids 13, 14 on here asking questions, doing great stuff. You are the only person who's going to be accountable to the end. Not your parents, not your uncle, not Zach and Rick. And the sooner you start it, the sooner you can be free. And then what happens is, they always tell you when you start saving at like 14, 15, if you complain out you're 55, you can put away $50 a month and way outpace the guy who does 5,000 a month. Why? Because compound. Learning works the same way, because the more you change and open it, the more the compound effect is. And you go find the people to attract in your life that will help you get what you want. But a lot of you are so stuck, like, I want. I believe life is one big lesson, and if you learn it, you can go on to a higher place. I believe people that don't learn their lesson have to come back and relearn it in some shape or some form. And I believe I use wholesaling as a guide. I'm really good at wholesaling, but wholesaling is nothing more than like working and talking to people. So there is no shortcut in wholesaling. All these gurus that tell you can be super rich doing that, they won't tell you they have a 5% success ratio. And that's just human nature. I can get 5% of any people to be successful. So why not find people that actually do this? We don't do the quick money grab, but in the end, guys, you're going to have to do the work. Rule number one, stop quitting, stop doubting yourself, and stop going, man, it must be nice to be you. That is just a ridiculous, that's just, actually, you're just making fun of yourself when you do that. You can fix it, but you're going to have to man up, woman up, whatever it is. I did it with 2 young children, way in over my head on debt, and I had no idea if it was going to work out. Do you know how horrifying that is? And some of you guys are like 16, 17, like, well, I want to like figure this out, that. Remember, in the end, once you're an adult, once you hit 20, 21, the reality is your parents like want you to move on with life. So if you're young and want to just figure it out, if you're struggling, you're older like me, make a change. You can be whoever you want to be. It's your decision. It's not mine. It's not his. It's not your parents. It's your life. It's your decision. Decide what you want to do. But please don't take advice from people that have never stepped foot on the journey that you're about to go on. And that's my biggest beef with people in wholesaling. People teaching wholesaling a year or two in the business, you've got to be kidding me. Like, I like 10 years into the business, unless you're completely exceptional. And those are far and few between. So it's up to you guys. You have to make a decision. But it's up to you. And if you make comments like, man, it must be really nice, it's just a reflection of your own thought patterns, not ours. I want to help you.
I always taught, but like, what I'm just saying is no one's put in the work that I did that has ever complained of what I've had. And, I get people say, oh, but Zach, I work just as hard as you. Prove it. Show me. And I've had this a couple times where I'm like, show me your Snapchat. They're like, why? I'm like, let me see your Snapchat. Everyone's like, what does that mean? I pull up their Snapchat for the past 2 years. Got clubs, partying, and all. It's like, I don't have any of that, right? A little bit of fishing, but, here and there. But, like, I don't think a lot of people understand in wholesaling right now, you just have to put in the work. And I was willing to pay a price that really no one else is willing to do, right? And talk about it all the time. So you just got to put in the grind and make a bunch of money wholesaling analysis. So let's do some one-on-ones real quick. If you want to do a one-on-one call with us, you just got to go to Wholesaling Houses for Real. That's our free real estate wholesaling Facebook group. We show you how to wholesale real estate absolutely for free. So if you go to the Facebook group, you can actually join and click the link. It's Wholesaling Houses for Real Facebook group, and go from there. And so first here we got Chadrick, our favorite South African wholesaler.
How you doing, Zach?
I'm blessed, man. How are you?
I'm doing great, thanks.
How can I help you out, man?
Yes, I saw you. Why is my voice coming?
Is your voice echoey?
Yeah.
All right. How about this? Is this better?
Yeah, much better.
All right. Cool, man.
Yeah, I saw you. Your 7-day challenge, and you said it takes about 2,000 contacts from their government list to get a deal. And ask about, is it 2,000, right? 2,000 contacts.
I mean, it's obviously depending on the list and what you're doing, but yeah, it's in the thousands, yes.
Yeah, but yeah, if you ask the probate, pre-foreclosure, and other government leads for the past 30 days, you get about 150 leads, which doesn't add to 2,000 contacts.
No.
So you need about 6,000 to get at least a deal. So do I have to pull from maybe 3 counties in the same state or what?
So you just got to start expanding the list you can do from there. And so you got pre-foreclosures, water shutoffs, fire damage properties, the arrest record list, the lien list, the tax delinquency list, right? We can go on and on. You got the IRS debt lien list, right? You got people not paying their state taxes, right? And the list can go. I mean, you already know. You've seen plenty of stuff. We've talked plenty of times. You know, there's an unlimited amount of leads coming in. So
yeah,
you can easily do 1,000 by doing that.
But they don't add up to like maybe 6,000 leads, because if you say you need 2,000 contacts,
6,000 alone, I'm talking like 1,000 to 2,000, right? If you want to get to 6,000, you're gonna have to use a PropStream or a ZachData.com type list.
Because you say like if you from 2,000 contacts, it's about like you give an example. If you're like 100 leads, maybe one of a third can go through.
No,
so 2,000.
It's not going to be 6,000. You're not going to get 6,000 government leads in any city. That's not even possible.
So what if I try to add from one county to another county to add up together?
Yeah,
Let's say from Austin, Houston, San Antonio, and then add up to 6,000.
Oh no, that'll add up to 6,000 easily.
And then from there, I have a guarantee to get it like a big deal.
Yeah, I would say so, statistically.
Because my plan is to get to work 8 hours a day from Monday to Friday, and on the weekends I can work for 3 hours a day and have a dialer also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you should hit that. I mean, just if you come back and show us the data, as long as I can see your data is connecting and everything's well, the skip tracing is good, you should be fine, man. As long as you're making the necessary amount of contacts per day with the right contact rate with the calls, yeah, you'll definitely hit it.
Oh, okay. Copy that. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it, man. Just look at your contacts rate, right? So 100 calls is not 100 contacts, right? But obviously you know that have the right skip tracing in mind, and you should be good to go, man.
Copy that.
All right. Appreciate it, Chadrick.
See you, man.
Thanks. Bye.
Awesome. So I love our international community here in wholesaling real estate, right? We have a lot of wholesalers we help out. I would say our top country with the most first deals outside the United States is obviously Canada. Second one's going to be Nigeria. And then I would say South Africa's after that. And then we got the Caribbean. We got a lot of Caribbean people too. And so I'm telling you guys, virtual wholesaling, you could be in China, Japan, like really anywhere. As long as you have the internet connection, you're good to go and you can do deals. The only thing stopping you is you. I've said that so many times. The only thing stopping you is yourself. Because if you have a guy out here trying to wholesale real estate in, Turkey, right? It's a little harder to wholesale in Turkey than it is in South Carolina. What's your excuse, man? Like, what's stopping you? So, guys, you got to do the work. If you want to learn how to do the work, go to our free wholesaling course, freewholesaling.com, and we'll see you soon, guys. I appreciate the patience with the audio. It means a lot, and we'll get everything squared away by next live stream on Tuesday. So I appreciate you guys. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe, go to freewholesaling.com, and we'll see you soon. This is Zach Ginn signing out.
Rick Ginn signing out.